Hello, and welcome to episode 148 of Prose. This week, yearn to be unconscious, and hear the death throes of a woodland. While you are listening, please consider heading over to prosepodcast.com, our one-stop shop for all things prose. There you can find links to social media, the episodes, a shop for swag, the show's Patreon, and more. Please do consider subscribing, rating, and or reviewing wherever you grab your podcasts and music. Thanks for listening. Let's get to the tales, shall we? This week, we have Let Me Sleep, and Little by Little, They've Come For Me. Enjoy. Let Me Sleep, an original short story by Jeremiah McGee. When I waked, I cried to dream again.
I stood there staring down at my own urine. I could smell the saccharine tinge of all the diet soda and overly sugared coffees and several Japanese whiskeys that had worked their way through my system after an evening of drinking water to counteract the conflagration. I knew that I had been here before. Right here. Not some strange, diluted version. I had been here before. It was just that I had been here as a man in the land of Nod, in a dream. The dream had come to me back when I was living in the wilds of rural Massachusetts. It covered a large swath of my life, and it revealed many paths that I had not yet tried. Living here, standing there. I cannot recall the details of the dream, making it rather infuriating. What use is déjà vu when we cannot access it at will, when we cannot see the future, in a sense? I had seen a glimpse of the future, my future. And here I was, blind still. Oh, I could see a little bit of light creeping around a rather opaque center. But that little bit of light was not enough to make any discernible picture come forth about my future. I had recollections of relationships, births and deaths, trials and tribulations. I couldn't help but think of the film Back to the Future, wishing I knew which team to bet on to get rich and change my entire family's stars. I knew that approach had turned disastrous for Marty McFly, but I couldn't help but wish nevertheless. Flashes. That was all I was graced with. Such power, even if mitigated by way of the forgetfulness of waking. Things are too specific to be happenstance. This dream had to be prognostication. I stood there, boxers askew and toilet unflushed. An empty Diet Dr. Pepper can sat in the sink to my right. I had just drank it upon waking and had not yet shuffled back to the kitchen to recycle the can. The tiles on the bathroom were familiar. The smaller stylized tiles in the shower to my right were so specific it made me shudder. I had never seen a shower like this before moving into my new apartment. There was a musty smell to the bathroom as well. Now, I knew this to be an unavoidable feature to this new apartment shower. No matter how much bleach and special products I used to scrub the area clean, The musty smell, reminiscent of summer camps and locker rooms, clung to the unique off-gray tiles. I'd seen them before, all those years back. The smallest trickle of light slunk in from the tiny window, giving the shoebox of a bathroom an odd golden hue, offsetting the greens and grays and dark. Maybe the sunshine is what offset the colossal smell and the diminutive size. So what does one do when one is an oracle who is half blind? When one can get the gut feeling of the oraculation, but the full prediction is inaccessible, unknowable. I didn't quite feel like Cassandra of Greek myth, but definitely like some stranger, monochromatic, myopic version of her kissing cousin just a bit more inept than she. I had dreamt of greater, better, richer women making a partner of me, opening doors, much as Cassandra had through Agamemnon. Dreamt in the waking sense, not the same oracular sense that this present glimpse from a past glimpse of the future. But just like my cinematic wishing for ill-begotten, time-traveling, gambling cash, this desire was complicated by Cassandra's end. It seemed that my waking daydreams brought nothing but ill ends. In the time it took me to flush the toilet and wash my hands, the potency of my remembrance was diminished. Only slight frayed threads remained. With the fading, my focus and my surety faltered. The cliché of the dimming dream banished by the waking world made me doubt the intangible prophecy. The tangible world had a way of killing anything mystical, no matter how concrete that mysticism is in the moment. Make coffee. Shower while the coffee brews. Grab towel, dry off. Dress. Put coffee in travel mug. Feed the dog. Water the dog. Grab the bag. Grab the keys. On the way. The morning routine to enact the morning commute drove away any remnants of the future that had been laid out so clearly only half an hour before. But wasn't that the way of things? Even with the power of vaticination at my hands, the waking world, the mundane map of a regular day, drove away anything special or mighty about me. Tomorrow was just out of reach once again. Only impressions remained. As I stepped into a subway car to head downtown, hardly having realized I'd even left my building, and made my way to the station, I could only pray that the scenes would play themselves out again in my dreams that evening. If it be thus to dream, still let me sleep.
Thank you for listening to Let Me Sleep, an original short story by me, Jared I. McGee. Please stick around for our next short story for this episode. Little by little, they've come for me. Little by Little They've Come for Me, an original short story by Jared I. McGee, inspired by an idea from Justin L. McGee. Little by little they've come for me. They started with my extremities, of course. Honestly, I did not notice a little trim here, a little snip there. In fact, I thought that these initial encounters were hygienic, a healthy means of cleaning myself up. These people were doing me a favor. Sure, they sometimes wield their blades a little clumsily, making for a cringe-worthy moment or two, but we all make mistakes now and again. I could not begrudge them some mishaps. However, this grooming was not the end of it. They kept coming back. 5, sometimes 6 sunrises in a row. They would come and cut, then hack. They began to bring in great beasts that spit and belched out black, noxious clouds. The pain was graduated as they added digging and clawing and deeper slices with every passing day. My body cried out. I began to dwindle. My entire life, I have been the strength and protector of my friends and family. They have lamented my recent plight, but they could not drive these invaders off. This inquisition was mine to bear. So, my dear ones began to flee after untold seasons spent with me. They ran, trying to find my cousins, to make refuge in them. I heard tell, though, that my cousins were gone. Impossibly, they had disappeared. The birds and squirrels clarified things for me. My cousins had been cut away, sunrise after sunrise, and now they were no more. Their corpses were disarticulated and partially shipped off, partially burned, and partially left to lie beneath a tombstone of unnatural black rock brought forth from the trundling beasts of these genocidal usurpers. I swear I recognize a face or two of these men coming to slice and trample my body. My perception begins to fog as I become lesser, but I really do think that this one used to play tag with his sister out on my periphery, and that one used to sing and whistle with the birds. Oh, and that one first knew a woman in my heart, far away from the judgment and prying of his kin and their institutions. But they seemed not to remember me. That, or they had long since ceased to love me. Still, I could not comprehend that they all had forgotten all the days we spent together in joy in their youth. Surely they harbored fond memories of me. How then can they take me apart? Why then do they kill me? At the rate they are going, I will hold out for another lunar cycle at most. I will see one more new moon before I dwindle before I cease. My winged friends still come and rest in my thinning boughs. They sing me cheer in the matins, and they try to lull me into rest with tittered lullabies in the dusk. A few of my other kind ones do visit, but they must do so cautiously. Their homes have long since been razed, and I no longer provide the same safety and security as once I did. The doe brings her yearling to meet me before I am gone. The vixen allows her 3 kits to bound about alongside what is left of my brook. But they do so at great risk to themselves and their young. They do so out of love for me, but they must always remain wary. There is no peace to be found here. Even if men do not come for them or for more of me, the journey in and out of my copse is fraught. Smaller, faster, belching, screaming beasts of the man kill my friends daily. That they would risk such danger to be with me in my waning hours makes all the pain dull, even if for a bit, a small, appreciated bit. My piecemeal death is driven from me in the chatter of these younglings and the songs of my friends. But the torture continues, and death does not halt its march. I am these men's friend. I bring them comfort and peace, yet they seem to know me not. Today, I saw one of the men in a moment where the axes and saws made pause, that saw him alone with me but for a moment. I saw that man touch one of my older trunks, an ancient fir. He seemed melancholy, apologetic. He looked up to my highest boughs. He swiveled his head left and right. His lips formed a small, sad smile. He was sorry for what he was doing. He knows not the coming storm that will result from his actions. The doom visited on his children and their children after my kind and all are gone. They end their lines through ending me. His moment of reflection ended quickly. He bore his axe once more, reared back, and sent it biting into my ancient fir tree. I cried out, but he did not hear me. Thank you for listening to Little by Little They've Come For Me, an original short story by me, Jared I. McGee. And that does it for this week of prose, our first of 2022. All the music and sounds you have heard come from YouTube's free music library as well as freesound.org. Everything is being used under CC 01.0 public domain dedication licenses. As we enter into the new year, I do hope that you will continue to at least try to live by the mantra we end our show with every 2 weeks. And that is to love those around you. Tell them that you do, and embrace this life as it is, stranger than fiction. Thank you so much for joining me here in 2022.